As a leader, you should never forget where you came from. Hey guys, it's Dan Greer with Forge, coming at you today for your 5-minute power up. And today, we're chatting all about never forgetting where you came from. One of the things I was doing, so I was at a conference not too long ago, go figure, right? And I was up there and I was chatting, and this guy caught me afterwards, and he was like, dude, would you sign a copy of my book? I was like, yeah, I'd love to sign a copy of your book, man. And so he brought it to me, and I signed a copy of his book. And he's like, I got something you need to add to your 5 principles for leadership. And I was like, cool. I love it. What do you got? And he goes, well, you should add, never forget where you came from. And I was like, I totally feel that way. That should be one of my principles of leadership, is to never forget where you came from. And I think that honestly, there's way more than 21 laws. There's way more than 5, principles. I think that that's just a starting point, right? But like, I was sitting there thinking about it, and how many leaders have you ever been around that have forgot where they came from? They forgot what it was like to be a laborer in the field, running the shovel. They forgot what it was like to be an operator running the hoe. They forgot what it was like when they move up to this. And I think we see a lot of that. We see a lot of that in people. We see a lot of this in leadership, and it's not necessarily what we love or where we want to go. It's just, it happens because it is what it is, but we can fight that. And the way we fight it is we are aware of it. And so we don't forget where we came from. We don't forget what it was like to be in the field, doing the job. And I think a lot of times we write policies and we write procedures and we write rules that other people have to follow that don't pertain to us because, well, we want them to do what they need to do, but we don't want to follow those same rules. That's kind of part of it, right? And so I want you to think about that for a second. Is as you sit here and you think about this, like, how many of us have forgotten where we've came from at some point? We're doing something and it's not like we go out and we would have never done it that way, but then we write a procedure to where we have to go out and do it that way, where everybody else has to go do it that way. But when we were in the field, we knew what a waste of time it was. We knew how stupid it was for us to go do that. And then what do? We get out of the field for 5 years and we turn into leadership and we forget what it's like. And we go, oh no, you have to wear your back brace when you swing a hammer. Well, you would have never worn a back brace when you're swinging a hammer, right? If I catch you without hearing protection, you're fired. And you didn't wear hearing protection for your entire career out in the field. If I see you working without safety glasses, that's it. You're getting written up. But you don't wear safety glasses when you go in the field, right? I think a lot of times we forget where we came from. And I think that it causes us major heartache as leaders and as people, because here's what happens. And this is just the truth. When I forget where I come from, and I forget how long it takes to do a task, or I forget what it takes to do that task. And then all of a sudden, like, they don't, like, how do I explain this? All of a sudden, they're no longer like what I'm telling people to do no longer makes sense because I'm telling them to do it in a different way than I would have ever done it. I would have never done it that way if I was in the field. You know what I mean? And so it's something to kind of think about. And I want you to remember this, because you lose credibility when you start doing that. So if you come in and you say that you have to do it this way, like, you're going to lose major credibility when that happens, because now all of a sudden they're like, well, he's disconnected. He doesn't know anything about what's going on. She doesn't know what's going on. She hasn't ever done this before. She'll blah, 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 blah. Right. And I think the other thing that I find here a lot, and I'm just going to go a little deeper in this, is that if you don't know how to do a task and you don't know what it takes to do that task, how do you like lead that task? And I'm not saying that everybody needs to know how to do every little thing that they're leading others to do, because I have no idea how to write code, but I lead others to write code and I inspire them to write code. Right. But if I go out and I think that they should be able to code 25 pages a day and fix 85 things, but they can't, that's a problem Does that make sense? Do you see where I'm coming from here? So I want you to think about that. Okay. Because that's one of the biggest problems that we have is forgetting where we came from as leaders. We get up there and we enjoy where we're at and we forget what it's like to be the guy in the field doing the work. And so I don't want you to do that. I want to encourage you to not do that. And that's my goal. Get out there, get forged. We'll talk to you guys later.